users' password behavior. So the motivation behind my project, why is this so important in today's digital landscape? Honestly, it comes out to the prevalence of password security attacks being on the rise. Brute force algorithms are bigger than ever. They're even easier to use for the common everyday person, and that means that our financial data is at risk, and especially for us in the workplace. The customers we work with, their PII and their PHI is more vulnerable than ever. So we should take these steps accordingly to ensure that our data is as secure as possible. Users often struggle with remembering complex passwords, so they lead to the adoption of poor passwords that they use across many different sites. You see the image here, and it leads to compromised credentials that make up for almost half of all data breaches. Right. So even though we have the available security advice, we know it's poor password hygiene. We still continue to make the same mistake, as a whole. So, we're going to empower users to make more informed decisions and to bolster their online security. We're looking at the research and leveraging, valuable insights that include visualizing the password guessing attacks to drive our approach to enforce a better password policy. So, today I'm excited to present our project aimed at enhancing password security. So, what are we really trying to do? And what we're really trying to do is show people, here are the things that build a password, right? And before even really giving them parameters, we just want to let them know, okay, put a password in the computer. Ideally not the one you're actually using, for all your accounts and whatnot. And let's just see how in real time, how quickly we could decrypt it, right? Because if we could decrypt your password and show you, like, oh, that password really is that easy to decrypt, it gives you a perspective of your real password, like, oh, this is what I should do about it. These are what the good guys are able to do with my information. But imagine what the bad guys can do. We aim to provide the users with practical tools and strategies to create and manage robust passwords, right? Whether that means like visualizing their passwords, using password managers, right? Just making more of an effort to enforce a better password policy hygiene. And the importance of this education is that, it makes for strong, memorable passwords that they can use and ideally change up for all their different accounts and feel more safe and confident in their online activities. So where's the research gap in what we're trying to fill? And it honestly comes out to the genuine cyber awareness that actually occurs, across our employers. And I speak particularly from the DoD just because of experience, right? We all do the same things, right? We go through the same cybersecurity awareness every year, and we're just like, oh, this is such a chore. We see Marty with this hologram and the cybersecurity awareness course, and we just hope we can pass the test, finding the answers online, or having somebody who's well versed in it do it for us, right? And looking at the bad 3D animations of the different people on the other cybersecurity awareness image you see here, and it just, there's no interest in the course. We're wasting everybody's time and resources, right? So the standard should evolve something more than just a mere certificate, something that's more meaningful and impactful, something you can really take away from. That's what cybersecurity is really all about, right? We are trying to inform people the right way, so that way bad actors don't have to have them learn the hard way. So our research questions and objectives comes to, how does witnessing live brute force demonstrations affect users' password creation behavior? And we want to record the changes in passwords creation behavior from our participants in terms of what we show them in the demonstration with the brute force algorithm. And we want to measure their shifts in attitudes towards their password strengths. So how do they feel about how secure their password is, right? And evaluate their knowledge regarding password security. And this is the important part. This is education. What are they learning from what we're teaching with the brute force algorithm? So, just talking about some of the articles we had, and just covering this topic, right? We had one from Hokala that actually mentioned that, like, and Brian and Campbell, that people being educated actually does bolster like a better sense of like user education. And when you incorporate visualizing this password visualization, like seeing how secure their password actually is, right? We saw that with this thing called the PSV, right? Which is essentially a password strength visualizer, right? And Alpha John and Lee, in the article from password checking to user education, talk about how offering a promising approach to improve password security is in people receiving the technical feedback from the technical team that shows them that their efforts are actually being lived out to the right way. Okay, so in the experimental methodology, right? So why did I even bring up the articles, right? It's to showcase that what we're doing is based off of research that has already been conducted before, and we're building onto that with the final step, right? Incorporating that visual feedback, but also more than just visual feedback, showing you in real time what your password actually looks like, right? Not your password itself, more like in terms of the hackers. What effort does it take for them to get into your data and stuff, right? So getting into that process. The recruitment process is going to be ideally get a diverse data set of participants, right? So we're going to have people from diverse channels, from like online platforms, local communities, academic institutions such as UCF, to ensure a wide range of password users. And ideally, it's going to be people who use passwords for online activities, which is just about anybody, really. And they have yet to gain prior experience through brute force demonstrations, which makes sense because most people haven't come across brute force demonstrations. We're bridging the technical side to the everyday person. Ethics and conformance then goes without saying. Like we are messing with passwords in this sense, and we ideally want people to use their real passwords, right? Some of them might, and we want to let them know, like, we're not going to do anything with the data that we gathered from this information, from this experiment. We're just going to show them that, this is what we're doing in terms to educate you, right? Bridging that technical team to the everyday user. And we, of course, want to have a random assignment with the experimental group and a control group to showcase that we're actually making an effect with our brute force algorithm. The pre-test survey is going to show more of the emotional side, how people feel about the security, the safety of their password, or how confident they feel in generating safer passwords in the future. And the pre-test assessment is going to go into the education side, like what are we teaching them with these brute force algorithms. Then we're going to get into the actual demonstration, which leads me to the images we see here. So in these images, you see there's a timestamp here on the left side, which showcases an example of John the Ripper, right? Showing like the -- status on how long it took to decrypt these passwords, right? You see the hypothetical 1 second, 2 second, 3 second that it took for these different passwords here. We see username was so in this case the username is on the right side, so it's gonna be user2, and their password was secret, right? And then it's just showcasing kind of an example that way. And here's another John the Ripper example, doing the same thing with the username John Doe, password John Doe. Okay, Kaspersky actually has a very useful tool that shows kind of more bridges the gap with what we're doing as well. Instead of showing them like the technical side with the brute force algorithm side, it just says how easily a password can be cracked. So in this case, we get a really simple password, and it talked about how many times it's come up in recent data breaches, and it says quicker than you can say oops, you can get into that password. Then here's this other password that you put a lot more time behind, and you see it's hack resistant, and it would take 20 centuries to crack. This is what we want to show them. We want to give them a cat and mouse type of reward system where we can kind of show them what it's all about. Post-test survey is going to see how they feel about their passwords after being shown the brute force algorithm, and the post-test assessment is going to go more into, what did they learn from this after the fact. And the statistical analysis is going to be done with the t-test and ANOVA, right? And ideally what we want people to learn is like more about what the brute force algorithm actually means in terms of like their everyday lives, right? So talking about like password spraying, right? Password spraying is all about using the same password that's come up multiple times and using it across different accounts and just hoping for the best. If people use passwords like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I'm going to try it across different accounts and different usernames and see which one I get lucky with, right? Then we have rainbow tables. Rainbow tables are about using commonly used hashes with, in their associated passwords, and just trying that across like different accounts as well. And the brute force attack itself is just taking computer hardware and saying, I'm going to try every possible combination. And as you feed it more information, it helps narrow it down the search to be quicker and more efficient, right? Hopefully that it gets lucky to be able to crack the password accordingly. So educating people as to, what hackers are able to do with these tools, right, is showing them how technical they have to get when they get to a really secure password. It's going to show them, okay, I want to make the hacker's life a burden.